In this video, we'll talk about how to optimize the LG C9 for use with Beoremote 1 and which picture settings we recommend for the best TV experience. Let's start with controls, and in particular controls of a third-party set-top box. When you connect a HDMI-connected set-top box, the LG TV will by default try to determine what brand and module the connected set-top box is and transfer the IR commands for it to the LG Magic Remote. This function is called Auto Device Connection. It's a very clever functionality, but with the drawbacks that the set-top box has to be in line of sight to receive the IR commands from the Magic Remote, and of course that you actually have to use the LG Magic Remote. When this is set up, HDMI CEC is also disabled for the source in order not to collide with the IR commands. Since the Beosound Stage does not have a peripheral unit controller built in, like for example an Eclipse, this means that if we want to control an external set-top box with Beoremote 1, while also having the option to hide it away, we have to rely on HDMI CEC. Two things have to be in place. Our set-top box must support basic control commands via HDMI, like for example an Apple TV does. And two, we need to make sure that CEC is enabled for the source. Therefore, our advice is to disable Auto Device Connection before connecting external set-top boxes. You do that by going to Settings, Connection, HDMI Settings, Auto Device Connections, and disable it. If you have already connected the external box before disabling this setting, fear not, it's quite simple to disable later. If you see a small remote control icon when you select the source, this means that the TV has made an auto detection of the device. To reset this, press the Home button and find the Home dashboard. In here, in the upper right corner, you find the settings and you select Device Connector. Here you select set-top box, and maybe you can see the remote icon here as well. So you select set-top box, find the HDMI input that is affected. Here it's HDMI 1, and then select Reset Device in the right side and confirm that you want to reset it. Now CEC is enabled again for this source, and I can control the Apple TV with my Beoremote 1. If controls are still not working, make sure that HDMI CEC is enabled in the settings of the set-top box. The picture settings the LG C9 is delivered with are optimized for use in very bright rooms, like in a store for example. However, most homes are not very similar to stores, and therefore we recommend changing picture preset to ensure a more pleasing and natural viewing experience. Our recommendations are to change to the ISF Expert for Bright Room profile. To change the picture profile, go to the LG settings on the TV. So select Settings, All Settings, and then Picture. And here you can change the picture mode settings to Expert Bright Room. When changing, you will immediately see that the picture gets a warmer color temperature. This is to some degree personal preference, but our recommendation is to change the color temperature from warm 2 to medium. This is based on Bang & Olufsen's year-long experience in picture quality, where we found that most people actually prefer a bit colder color temperature than the one used as industry standard for movies. Scroll down until you find Expert Controls. Select White Balance and change the color temperature to medium. Once that is done, go back again and then apply to all inputs. Now this mode is set for all the inputs in the TV. Last setting I'd like to mention is the possibility to disable the standby indicator on the C9. Once this is disabled, the indicator will still slowly flash during startup, but at all other times it will be turned off, giving the setup a cleaner look. To disable the standby indicator, go to All Settings, select General, Additional Settings, and then you can switch off the standby light.